Hi everyone, welcome to Get Ready with me, Louise. Okay, let's acknowledge I may have went a little heavy-handed with the blush. I said it. Actually, I didn't go heavy-handed. This is a prime example of why you need to be so careful when using Pat McGrath brushes and they're pigmented. So when you use like me with her lighter shades, I can go heavy-handed. I can just go all over the place, right? But with blushes that are brighter, that aren't made for my skin tone, you best go in with a very, very, very light hand. But we'll get there. So as you can tell today, probably, we will be doing Pat McGrath. And of course, look at that eye. That screams a Pat McGrath eye. I mean, that lid alone, oh, chef's kiss. Gorgeous. And look, no fallout. Need I say more? Like, and it'll last. This will be like this all day. I won't have to worry because after testing these shadows over and over, trying to figure out like how to not get to fall out, I finally figured it out. So right now, let's go over what is on my face, and I actually do believe that I have a full face of Pat McGrath, you all. Is it the correct shades? Probably not, but here we go. So for foundation, I'm wearing the Pat McGrath foundation. I have it in light medium 11. Way too dark for me, but we made it work. I may have added a little bit of a lighter shade into it, just saying. I am wearing the Pat McGrath L5 for concealer. This is a little too light. That's a little too dark. Great combination, don't you think? I had a fun time trying to get this all to work. I set the under eyes with the Pat McGrath light skin fetish sublime perfection blurring under eye powder. This one here. Love this powder. Is it worth it? I don't know. To be fair, I've had this powder for quite a long time, so you do use very little. I set the rest of my face with the Pat McGrath in light medium 2 powder. For bronzer, I am wearing, I have no idea what I'm wearing. Oh, this one, right? No, this one. I don't know what I'm wearing. Oh, no, that's the blush. That is most certainly the blush. Where did I put the... Sorry, y'all. I'm working on it. I'm trying to find it. That's another highlighter. Oh, here's the bronzers. Where is it? Okay. I'm actually using the darkest blush because I thought it kind of reminded me of my new Holy Grail, the Armani blush, as far as color, but it doesn't. It's a little bit more on a yellowish tone, to be fair, but this one is called Desert Glow. It does kind of have the same like finish in a sense, but not kind of, but not really. I still prefer the Armani Glow over this, to be fair, just for price point alone. But I do like this. It's not bad. Again, if I probably chose the correct blush, wouldn't look bad at all. But considering the blush that I chose is too much, there you go. Now you're probably going, well, what blush could you have possibly chose? Like, you have them all, and I do. I do have them all. And you would probably then go, well, then why didn't you just go with one, that works? Well, because it does work. It's just you have to go in with a very light hand, and I did not do so. And the blush that I chose for today is Pat McGrath Night Bloom. Need I say more? Usually, the way I apply this blush is I go more purple than red. It's like a whoop of the red. You know what I mean? Because this red is red. Make no mistake. This is pigmented. But my dumb butt decided just to swirl it around, tap it, of course, and then apply. And, well, no. Don't do that. Lesson learned on my part. I will stick to now doing it the way that I've always done it. And no. For highlighter, where did I put you? I'm losing everything, y'all. I'm putting everything back. Here it is. I chose, I think this was it. Let me look. Yep. Lunar Allure. Love her highlighters. Any shade, whatever shade works for you, love it. Love the highlighter. For lips, I am wearing her lip liner in, here it is, in Bare Rose. This is really light, to be fair. It's not one of my favorite. It barely shows up on my lips. So I guess in a way it's almost like my lip tone color and stuff. But I mean, it works in the sense of it ain't gonna let nothing get outside of it. So therefore it's perfect. You know what I mean? But then I decided to go with a different lip formula that I don't use very often. And it's this here. It's the Lip Fetish. Oh, Lord. Lip Shine. I can't read that word. Lip Fetish something. Lip Shine. Divinity? Is that it? No. I don't know. It's called Divine Rose 2. It looks like this. And it's like a balm, basically. I mean, it's got pigment. It does like a balm and a gloss combined. Like, it's got the shine of a gloss, but feels like a balm. It's like a harder formula than these, basically, if you want to look at it like that. And it don't plump. It doesn't have any kind of feeling like that. So I guess it really depends on what you're looking for. I mean, I kind of like that. But that's just me. Okay. We're going to ignore the hair too because, well, what else can we do on a hot heat wave of the rest of our summer that we're going to have? Anyway, I decided to go. Now, y'all know I own almost all of her palettes, from holidays to just collaborations to 4-pan to 5-pans to 6-pans to the palettes to everything. Like, I buy everything. Should I? Probably not. Do I? Yeah. I'm starting to reevaluate that, though, because, to be fair, not much is changing. I'm not gonna lie. Do I enjoy it? Yeah, I do. But I don't need the same repeat things. And if you just go off, let's say you just have the Mothership palettes, right? First off, do not buy them when they first launch. Wait. You will get a discount. I promise they ain't selling out. Not anymore. Unless it is something completely unusual she's coming out with, they ain't selling out, okay? Number 2. Pick one, maybe 2 that you might use. Like, you don't need them all. You don't. The max, really, if I'm being honest with myself, in the collection, I have all 10 of them. I probably realistically need 3. 3 that I really, maybe 4. But there's some that I'm like, I won't use it. You know, I know myself and I won't. It's not my color story. Or it's not my tones. I mean, no matter what, you're going to make a beautiful look with any of these palettes, but it's just not me. And I decided not to go with my very favorite, but I decided to go with number 10 because A, it is the newest Tour edition. And to be fair, I haven't played with it much, but when I have truly enjoyed the looks. And I know that this palette got the most, on it. But to be fair, it's not a bad palette. Now, if you own them all, it's starting to get repetitive. I get it to a certain point. There is no repeat shades, but it does get a little bit, it's like you're really, you're getting a little bit close here. And for price point wise, it's like, do you want to spend that type of money? Probably not. But I think I'm falling in love with this palette, to be fair. So it is the Mothership 10 Moonlight Seduction. It looks like this. Now, to be fair, it's a cool tone palette, so that is where my heart lies. Is it spring? No. Is it screaming summer? No. Is it screaming winter? Yeah. Is it screaming fall? Yeah. So, can you make everyday looks? Yes. You can make very basic look out of this palette, or you can really like, bam, in your face, here I am, come see me, which is this shade right here. And this shade right here is my favorite shade, to be fair. You can see, like, I really go into this shade. I love that shade. It is just chef's kiss. Is this palette worth just that shade? No. But I do like the mattes that are in here too, especially to build, like, to get to this point. But I also can build these mattes with any of these to get a look that I like. So I do like the 3 mattes that are in here. They're right up my color story. So the first shade we are going to go into, I'm using my Natasha Denona brushes also, is this one here to start out with. The only thing I don't have on my face that's Pat McGrath is technically my eyebrows. Interesting. Which she's not come out with anything like that yet, so we have to wait. Eyeliner. I'm not wearing Pat McGrath eyeliner, but I could. I just didn't pick one. I'm wearing the Tarte Fake Awaken cream, obviously. My holy grail. The cream and the white have become like everything to me. The cream has always been there. Like, I've always enjoyed that cream shade so much. I have backups upon backups of it because I'm just so scared, and you never know with these brands what they're going to do. But the white is new, and I have enjoyed it a lot, so it has become right up there with the cream, depending on the look. If it's a neutral look, I tend to stick with cream. If it's a more colorful look, I'll add the white. But it's really just, depends, to be fair. But look how pretty that is. That is a beautiful transition shade. You can't tell me it's not. And it's not scary, but it's not exactly a brown either, to be fair. Like, it is a little different. Not much. Don't get it twisted or anything. It's the lid that really just brings this palette home for me. But again, these shades can be messy. You really do have to kind of play with them in a way, because not all, like, everybody has tips and tricks, right? But they're not all going to work for everyone. So you really just have to, like, play and see what works. And I know it gets frustrating. Lord, I know. You're doing your makeup, you want everything to go smoothly. You don't want to have to be messing with it, and then it messes up, and then you got to go the rest of the day, or you're just taking it off, Like, I get it. I do. But once you put the time in and you do figure out how to use these shadows, I do kind of feel like it is worth it. I really do. Okay, now we're going to go into this shade right here. And we're going to darken up the outer corner and into the crease. I would say start out with a light hand. I mean, this shade's not that dark to worry about, but, it's always best to proceed with caution than not, in my opinion, but you can do you. I've not had any issue with this palette, with the shades being like too dark to not be able to use or manipulate them. Some of her palettes, though, definitely go in with light hand, and probably even, I'd say, go in with natural brushes. until you get used to them, because that's the best way I have found for them to work. And again, that's by watching other people's, tips and tricks with it. Because when I first got them, I didn't see what all the hype was about. I mean, the color stories was pretty sure, but I'm like, these are messy. These are not blending right. These are patchy. What is everybody talking about, And again, I would try to follow tutorials and it never turned out right because stuff's cut out, or, I'm not using the same brushes or same technique or whatnot. But yeah, I would just say experiment. I have found that so what I have done today is I've used the concealer as my primer. You can pretty much use any primer though. I set it. I set my eye with the Pat McGrath setting powder. I feel like you can set it with anything too, to be fair. Okay? This is just how I have figured it out to work. And not had to worry about the blending and stuff, okay? And then I start doing what I'm doing. Now, the other thing will be the next thing I show you. I want to keep these to last and not flake all over your face. Is technically her Intensifies Artistry wand. Some people like it, some people don't. I have tried other things. I have the Too Faced what's it called? Shadow Insurance, glitter glue. I've tried it. I've tried a bunch of things, and I couldn't get it to work with these. I'll be honest. Is that just a me thing? It could have very well been. So don't hold me to that. But with her wand, I don't have any problems. So for me, I'm just like, well, if that works, let's just stick to that, And it should work considering it's from the brand, to do this with. Alright, so I just put that same shade that I used on the outer corner along the lash line. Making sure I don't go down too low, but I definitely want that shade to be able to be seen down there. And again, they blend nicely into one another. The gradient is beautiful, I think. Again, everybody has different preferences, so you do you. And again, I'm still going in with like one tap and then putting it on. But again, I'm not a makeup artist, so I kind of have to go slow. Or I find like I get ahead of myself and then that never turns out good. As in, do we need to look at my cheeks? Yeah, I got ahead of myself. Not good. But, at least it, as it fades through the day, even though I've never really known her blushes to fade, but we can hope that for today it would fade, right? Maybe the sweat and the humidity will help it along its way. I don't know. But yeah, I got overzealous. I got overthinking I could do stuff that I shouldn't have been doing, And that is on me. I'm just defining like around the eye socket a little bit. So when I lay this next color down, I do want to make sure like I'm getting all my mattes down now, because once I do apply that artistry wand, I will say I do have a little bit of issue then like blending in the mattes with this, but nothing, it doesn't hurt the look, let's put it like that. So then I just take the wand, you can click it up, but I've already got some product out, as you can see. And I'll be honest, I like this wand because I don't know if you can see it on camera as I'm applying it, but it almost is like it smooths out my lid. And I'm not going to open it or anything. I'm going to keep it as shut as best I can to keep those wrinkles where they're at, you know what I mean? So we're going to do that, like that, wherever I'm going to put this shade, okay? Again, eye is staying shut. The shade for the lid that I'm choosing is this one right here. So I am going to dig in, pick some up. There it is. I'm not going to tap it off. If you want to, you can, but I just prefer to go straight in while that's sticky, right? Now, as I'm building it, I will tap off, but while the sticky is right there, I go in with the first time going like this. Can we see this shade though? And I'm just tapping right now. Tap, tap, tap. Tap, tap, tap everywhere. I will say that generally though, I like the rougher brush for this, but since I was using my Natasha Denona brushes, this is where we're at. And again, I have not opened my eye to reveal any kind of wrinkles or lines or anything like that. I mean, you can't tell me that's not gorgeous. You just can't. I don't really like them. I like the mirror in here. Like, it is a good mirror, right? But this palette's heavy. So to be fair, this isn't a palette that I like to just like put up there and start like looking at myself. That's the only thing about these palettes, that it's like it's a great mirror in here, but it's not the easiest to really like use. I picked up just a little bit more to tap into the inner corner now, because remember I put the majority of that first dip right dead in the middle. Alright, so you can see that it is on the lid now. It looks even to me. It's where I want it to be, not too high, not too low. It looks like I got every part of it down that I want it at. I'm going to open just a little and then reshut it, just to make sure, you know what I mean? Then what I do is I just take my ring finger of whatever hand and just tap, sort of like push it in, push it in. Now, if by doing this you realize, wait a second, I picked up something or I missed the spot, you can go back in again. It's okay. But what I find with this is it does pick up a little bit, but I feel like that little bit that it picked up is what was eventually going to fall down on my under eyes had I not have made this move. Maybe not, but it's just my personal feeling to it. I don't have to add any more. It looks fairly even to me, to be fair. It looks gorgeous to me, to be fair. So you can see that little bit that picked up. Just gonna wipe it off. Now, I'm gonna grab my regular mirror, y'all, and look. Now, did I get a little bit of fallout? I did. I got a little bit. So I got a little bit like right here. And that is probably from where I was trying to lay the brush down right there. And right here. So we're just going to blend it away. It does go away pretty easy. And that's it. Still no fallout over here. And a little bit of mascara flake. It's not transferred up here anywhere. So it's laying very beautifully, to be fair. No issues. I do want that sleepy though. Alright. Guess I got the sleepy, I don't know. I do. Okay. I'm going to add a little bit of the fake wake. And then we're going to line the lash line. Alright. Now I'm going to take my repper. No, I'm not. Hold on. We got to do the inner corner. Okay. So for inner corner, I'm just going to go into this shade right here. No. And we are going to just pat it right on the inner corner, like this, and like that. This is more of a satin shade, so you're not going to get much fallout. Now, if you go in with one of the other shades, you will, so you may want to spray or tap off. You might want to, you could try to use the artistry wand. I don't know how that would play with, you know what I mean? I don't know, so I don't do that. But if I was to say, put this down, and then sometimes, you know, I might want a little bit of glitter. Maybe this shade on top of it, or maybe even this shade on top of that. I would spray my brush and then just very simple go boop. Like, don't be messing with those types of shades, or they're going to be all over your face. At least, again, in my experience of playing with this. Now I'm going to take this shade right here, and we are going to line the lower lash line and top lash line with it. I don't know, there's just something about this palette that it's got a little bit more color, like a berry tone to it, I guess. Or a pinky purple tone, I don't know how to explain it. That's like, it's a little bit of color. But and then you have this like dark black brown shade. So it's not necessarily a black, but it's not necessarily a brown, but yet it definitely is dark enough to define your lashes and stuff. Or even if you wanted to go more smoky and darken up the outer corner, you could with that shade, but it's not too terrifying, you know what I mean? Like, this palette to me is like the perfect daytime, nighttime palette without being terrifying. Without having to be a makeup artist. Like, I feel like you could use it. Now, if you're brand new to makeup, like never touched it before, I would never suggest her palette to be your first palette to start with. That's just not a brand I would choose for someone, because I fell for it myself, you know. I was watching everybody when I first got into makeup, and when I first got back into it, this brand was thriving, and it wasn't easy. It really wasn't. To be fair, the easiest brand I've realized that when I first started back into makeup that was just like easy, like as far as like learning or doing looks or just trying to put yourself together, the easiest brand I personally found was ColourPop. And that's not just with neutral looks, but with colorful looks even. Like, those shadows were just the easiest to work with. I wasn't necessarily scared of, I was scared of them because, you know, I was first getting back into makeup. But I wasn't like scared of them as in if you put a black and go, here, make a look. You know what I mean? Like that type of scared. They were just really easy palettes to use to create looks, to be fair. Same with their blushes. Bronzers. I mean, like, everything's just easy to use. Does it last all day? I'll be honest, I don't think it does. I think you have about a 6 to an 8 hour window with ColourPop products. And then you definitely start to notice, like, you've been wearing it. Like, it's been worn, you know? Where with these shadows, at the end of the night today, in 10 hours, this eye look is going to look exactly the same. To a T. No fading. Light is still going to hit this and look beautiful. I'm hoping the blush will fade. I ain't gonna lie. Like, that's one thing that I hope does fade. However, I'm sure it will not, because that is not my look. Alright, for mascara, we're going to go in with the Pat McGrath in Dark Star in the black. Hold on just a second here. I got a mess on my hands. Where's my light? Here it is. I just got mascara all over me. I do like this formula, Dark Star. The Fetish Eyes ones, that mascara is nice, but it does smudge. Or transfer, I mean. Like, if I sweat or something, it'll be up here by the end of the day. Or if I don't, like, really get that set, my lashes will touch and you'll see the mascara. Whereas with this one, that does not happen. At least it's never happened so far. And that goes with the black or the colored. It just doesn't happen, so. I've never had an issue out of her mascara. And to be fair, I do like it. Is it my Lash Clash? No. Or my Gucci? No. Is it the new one? The, Valentino? No. But it is good. And I do like the gold bottle of this. Like, I like everything about it, type of thing. And it's not, I can't, like, say anything bad about it. But it's not, like, it's not the worst, but it's, like, not my holy grail either. You know what I mean? Like, I would buy it again. I would. If I just wanted to, like, mix it up, try something different, I'd be happy, you know? Alright. Like, you can't tell me that looks not pretty. I mean, I guess you could tell me that, but I'm not believing you. I'm just not. I just don't think this palette could do any wrong. Is it... Again, I don't think you need them all. I would say pick one that you know you're going to wear every day, right? Because that's a for sure a good investment for your money. Then maybe pick one that, you know, that you're not really sure. Well, you're sure, but like, it's not going to be an everyday palette. Maybe it's like a fun palette, or it's a one that you're going to step outside your comfort zone type of thing, you know? Or maybe there's two that you know that you'll use. Get them, and then one that's going to step out your comfort zone. But I don't think you need them all. And like, I do see, like, some of her palettes, like, I see winter, I see fall, I see spring. I guess I even see summer, to be fair. But I don't think you need a palette for every season, so to say. But I mean, if that means you get 4 and instead of getting all 10, then go for that, for sure. But again, I would never pay full price, because I'll be honest, there's always sales, and half the time she's usually got like 3 combined for you to purchase at a discounted price also, so keep that in mind. But do I like her palettes? I do. The only one that I'm like, you know, like, is number 4. And I think, I'm pretty sure that that's the one that is all metallics. Hold on. Let me make sure. I have them right here. I think I have them in order. I do. No. Because that's number 2. So that's 1, 2. I must have these lined up in the way that I must have ranked them. Here it is. This is 4, right? Decadence. Yeah, because this one's 3. To be honest, out of the first ones, this one here used to be my favorite, number 3. But then number 2 somehow came in and just stole my heart. I don't know. But this one here is the Decadence, and it's the one that's all metallics. And this is the one I'm like, I don't know. I don't know. I get it, but I don't get it. So that's up to you. But, you know, her first five, well, the fifth one is the one I kind of consider as the Bronze Seduction. I kind of think of it as, I think that's what the name of it is. I think of it as a summer palette, to be fair. With those red, that, I mean, everybody knows that red. You can see that red special shade a mile away. It's like a red-orange shade. It's gorgeous. But I always liked 6. I really did. I always liked, it's not Utopia. What is it? I can't think of it. But it's number 6. I couldn't keep up with these names if I had to. I got them by numbers. That's about as good as I'm getting, you know. But yeah. Alright, I'm going to let you go. So this is a full face of Pat McGrath. If I had to pick the things that I truly like, I believe her money, like your money is there. Blush. Bronzer. I do like the bronzer. Don't get me wrong. I love the bronzed on. It's got more of like a reddish tone to it. However, the Nude Honey really does remind me of Tantastic a little bit by Marc Jacobs. So if you really like that, maybe try that to see if you feel the same. But those two lip liners. Love her lip liners. Love her matte lipsticks too, and her glosses. I forgot shoot. Well, here we are, but like her glosses. I love the smell of them. I love the feel of them. I think they're pretty. They're unique. Some of them are basic. I think that's it. A lot of her stuff's been really basic lately, not so much unique, but again, I'm sure basic is what sells. And as far as palettes, that is an up to you type of thing, you know. Is it worth your money? I am so incredibly grateful and thankful that I have them. I am. I know how much work goes into buying one, how much you have to work. I mean, I do. You're looking at a whole day's salary, you know, for the most part, in a way. So, I get it. For me, it's worth it. For someone else, though, I can definitely say, yeah, I can see where it's not. So, you know, I don't want to get it twisted. Like, I understand type of thing, you know. I own a lot of high-end stuff, but don't get it twisted. Not all of it would I be like, oh yeah, go get it. Waste your money. Even though it's not a waste, I don't necessarily think it's something that, like, I think you could live without it and be, well, you can live without all this and be just fine, let's be honest. But, like, I don't think it's, some things I just don't think it's going to bring the joy that it would bring to others. You know what I mean? Like, this lid brings the joy to me. I mean, it just is stunning in my eyes. And that's why that palette, I like it so much now. But is that worth it to you? I don't know. So I don't want to justify. That's why I'm just showing you how I do my look. If it works for you, it'll work for you. If it don't, it don't. If you want to pay that price, you can. If you don't, you don't. But at least you get an honest, no filters, no fancy lighting, no makeup artist skill here, creating a look. That's it. So, anyway, I'm going to let you go. Sorry about the background noise. Sorry about the blush. I know it's a lot. This whole look is actually a lot, to be fair. But I will say the blush kind of does go with the look. I mean, maybe I didn't do too bad. If we can get this to tone down through the day, I may be okay. I really don't want to go out in public right now because I'm pretty sure that I look like a clown. But if you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe, ring the bell, hit all that where you're notified when I upload. I upload every day but Sunday unless there's a new launch. And we'll continue on with the alphabet. I really do like Pat McGrath, though. You guys know that. Pat McGrath, Natasha. But you guys stay safe, stay healthy, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.